Story 1. Update: my wife is upset by my finally flourishing. Envy. Original post. My 28 male wife Ashley, 30 female, have been together for 4 years, married 3 and open for 2. We both found someone very early. Ashley was dating a married man in a stable poly relationship, and I got quite close to a grad student at a nearby college. Ashley and I were both high on NRE, but managed to share that with each other, and it was so intense and special. After 9 great months, my grad student got a job offer several hours away. Being slightly introverted, I kind of withdrew into my SHLL and threw myself into the gym to take my mind off of things. Less than 2 months after that, Ashley's Meta got pregnant and her relationship started to wind down. I had hoped that we could take some time and maybe travel or just spend some romantic time together after both of her breakups. But Ashley's plan was to chase that next NRE rush with someone new. But she wasn't matching with anyone that she could really connect with. She started seeing more people more often. Then she scheduled a date with a new guy on Saturday night, which had always been our date night. We argued, and she ended up not going out with either of us that night. She insisted that we change her date night to Thursday because Friday and Saturday were better for her other partners, especially if they wanted to do an overnight. All this caused me to spiral a bit, and I was practically living at the gym. With no real enthusiasm for dating for a few months, the upside was that I lost 35 pounds and really pumped up my arms and upper body. One of my friends, Keith, from the gym talked me into working at one of his clubs on Friday and Saturday as a bar back since they were kind of crazy. It's a mixed crowd LGBTQ+ with a big dance floor and a drag show. By the 3rd week I was bartending, and the MC had made teasing me and grabbing my ass part of her act. I started getting hit on, which boosted my confidence and went from introverted to the other end of the scale. After about 3 months, I noticed Ashley making snide remarks about my working and staying out all night, as I think she was a bit annoyed or jealous I was having such a good time. She was still getting dealt SHTTY cards from a stacked deck, as she put it, rarely getting more than 3 to 4 dates from any one guy before ending it, or getting ghosted. Meanwhile, I am going to after parties or hookups and not getting home much before the sun comes up. Then came the big storm. I knew I was going to hook up with a regular at the bar and not be home, so I texted Ashley that I was having an overnight and wouldn't be home until the next morning. I get a lengthy text about how I ruined the mood on her date and ruined things, and the next day had a big argument. Ashley had told me she was doing an overnight on Friday, so after work I invited a few people to the house. Ashley had a fight with her boyfriend and came home early to find me in the hot tub with 3 naked women. 2 were lesbians, but the picture didn't reflect that. Ashley and her date decided they wanted to see the drag show on Saturday. It was a packed house. We had 3 bachelorette parties in the house that were in rare form. I was helping the bar back clear empties from the tables, and the MC and one of the other divas were giving me the business, which only egged the bachelorette groups to get handsy as well. As busy as it was, I never saw Ashley, but Kevin did, and saw her leave in a huff with a bewildered date in tow. The day after she came to the club, Ashley said that we needed to close the relationship and work through some issues. We talked about a few of them, mostly me not being available on the weekends and not prioritizing our relationship. I had to remind her that she was the one who prompted us to move our date night from Saturday to Thursday to accommodate her boyfriend's schedule. She brought up how hurt she was when she had to fight with one of her dates and came home early to find me in a hot tub full of women when she needed me to be there for her. I told her for once I was getting to enjoy the same freedom that she had, and she was having issues. Then maybe she should take a step back and close her side while she got some individual counseling to learn how to deal with her issues. I haven't missed a Thursday night date with her, although she can spend 1/3 of her phone time with other guys, and that's supposed to be okay, and I brought up how she literally sent 30 texts of my one. Last night she brought it up again, and I said if she wanted to close we could close, but it would be permanent, no dating or online flirting. She would have to delete all of her dating apps and Snapchat, all our phone numbers of past hookups, everything. I made it clear that if we went down this path, the next time she wanted to do so much as have dinner with another man alone, it would be as a single poly woman. Obviously, she didn't like my idea and said it was unfair, and personally right now that isn't something that I want either, but I'm not going to just let her pour cold water over my side to appease whatever is going through her head right now. And now for the comments before reading the update. I would not agree to close up, but it might be a good idea to get into couples counseling, or at least take stock of where each of your needs can be tended to. Can she stop making unnecessary remarks about a hobby gym that's improving your life and well-being? Can you move your regular date night to accommodate the shift that works best for everyone? Can she be an adult and use her words to tell you when she needs support instead of expecting that all of your available free time belongs to her by default and being upset when you're already occupied? Can you put aside more specific time for just the two of you or implement scheduled check-ins? Can you avoid mixing your extracurricular activities so as not to run into triggering but otherwise harmless situations? OP says, can she stop making unnecessary remarks about a hobby gym that's improving your life and well-being? She had no problem with the gym. It was working at the club part-time and the attention I was getting there. Can you move your regular date night to accommodate the shift in that works best for everyone? She moved her date night from Saturday to Thursday for her benefit, definitely not mine. And then this person says, absolutely agree with this advice. The wife sounds incredibly codependent on not only Op, but all her relationships. She doesn't sound like she's able to self-regulate or self-soothe at all, and is infringing on Op's time with others at all times. Op, on the other hand, sounds like he's incredibly checked out of the relationship. All the attention and good feelings he's getting from outside the relationship have left him unwilling to do the hard work of maintaining a romantic relationship. I agree that closing up is not the right choice. Op will resent it, and the wife won't be equipped with the right set of skills to re-engage E&M once if the relationship is back on track. Slowing down all the fronts for both isn't a bad idea though. Set aside the time for each other. It doesn't sound like they're poly, but they are spending less time and effort than a poly person would on a relationship they want to foster. That's a recipe for disaster. OP response. OP, on the other hand, sounds like he's incredibly checked out of the relationship. All the attention and good feeling he's getting from outside the relationship have left him unwilling to do all the hard work of maintaining a romantic relationship. I wanted to slow down and take time to heal when we lost our first partners, but Casey has been bent on finding a replacement ever since. I have enjoyed all the attention lately, I guess, since I starved for it for what seemed like a long time, and I'm not going to let Casey flip the open and close switch whenever she has issues. I had to deal with my feelings pretty much on my own without much grace from her. I'm not checked out of our relationship, but I'm not willing to set everything on fire without her making a tangible effort to change her behavior. I won't go back to the dark place I was in before. This person says, just based off the first read, I get the impression that she has an unmet basic enough need. My hunch is something like admiration. She needs to identify that need very clearly and come up with ways that need could be fulfilled to present to you as options which you can either accept, reject, or compromise on. Right now, she's asking you to accommodate her without understanding why she's needing these things, and it does come across as an attempt to stifle your success. I wouldn't stop the gym for sure. You found a healthy alternative to your situation, and that's amazing. Proud of you, dude. I personally would maybe agree to bartending one night on the weekends instead of two. But only if there is a logical path of thinking as to how that is going to improve the relationship or fulfill whatever needs she's not getting met. She created a situation that has ultimately benefited you and isn't producing the results she expects. It's on her to do the hard work of self-reflection. But also don't be a dick about it. Straight up, I think you're doing okay so far, but tiptoeing the line. Think back to what it felt like before the gym when she was going out on dates and leaving you behind. She's your partner, you chose her, you married her. I'm sure there had to be a reason for those decisions. What do you wish she would have done back then? Do something like that. Don't stifle yourself to accommodate her. But as her partner, try to find a way that you both can succeed or divorce. Good luck, hopefully it works out for everyone. Good for you for standing up for yourself. You laid it down and she ultimately agrees to it. Follow through. She was in the wrong by asking you to move your date night. 100%. She should have stuck to the rules you both had. Honor that, make you a priority, and leaving you alone most weekends, not good. The hot tub, not your fault. She was supposed to be gone all night, and instead of making the best of it and hopping in and relaxing, she wallowed in her argument and tried to make you feel bad for having a good time. Now that things aren't going so well for her, now she wants to pause and ruin your fun. That said, if your marriage is a priority, then you both need to make that commitment, and what you've told her to shut it all down makes a lot of sense and is the right move to get y'all back on track. I suppose there could be a happy medium where y'all agree to a date night limiting when y'all text other people, etc. But will she then want to change things again to accommodate whoever new she's dating? In any event, the ball's in her court now. This person says just divorce her man. From all your comments here, there seems to be too much resentment in you for you to do anything to save this marriage. She didn't give you grace, didn't prioritize you, and now wants to have you close your side because hers isn't going well. If you feel you're being manipulated, if you feel your standards have changed, then leave. Everyone who gave you advice here you've tried to argue with. You seem to already have convinced yourself it isn't worth it to you to make an effort to compromise. Valid, given how you've been presenting it. Nevertheless, if it isn't worth it to you anymore, then it's over. This person says you're both pretty awful. Your tone makes it pretty clear that you don't see yourself as part of the problem, suggesting that only your partner needs therapy, for example. But from this objective observer's point of view, you're equally responsible. Do you need to live at the gym? Do you need to be out until the early hours all weekend, every weekend? Is it reasonable to invite strangers into your shared home without telling your girlfriend? Do you want to be in this relationship? If so, enough with the petty bullshit. Time for both of you to take some steps towards the other. Go to a relationship coach or counseling. Repair your connection. I don't think closing for a time is a bad idea, assuming neither of you are in other committed relationships but demanding that if you close now you're closed forever. That's for sure some more of that petty bullshit you need to knock it off with. Now for the update. So a couple of weeks ago my wife Ashley asked to close a relationship and work on some issues which I refused since I was just starting to really enjoy it after being left behind, as it were. You can read my previous post for context if needed. Another thing she wanted was for me to stop working part-time tending bar at a club after she and a date of hers came in and she saw the attention that I was getting there. Last Thursday was our scheduled date night where she again asked me to pause, reconnect, and work through some issues. Friday and Saturday nights have lately been nights that I worked at the club while she went out with her other partners and was often gone overnight, leaving me alone for most of the weekend. This last weekend she spent both Friday and Saturday nights sitting alone at the end of the bar where I worked. I had a date already planned for Friday after work, but on Saturday we left together and had breakfast before going home. All this week her phone has been silent and I've only seen her texting a couple of times. All 3 times we have been intimate this week. She has been the one to initiate it, which is the total opposite of the last 9 months. We had a long talk, and she wants to make Saturday our official date night again in addition to keeping Thursday night as well. She said that she had pulled all her dating profiles down and deleted Snapchat, basically closing her side of the relationship down. Her only ask has been for me to not work on Saturdays so we could spend the entire day together. I told her I could do that, but I needed to give Kevin time to find a replacement for me at the club. We are spending this afternoon with her family and lunch tomorrow with mine for Thanksgiving. Ashley has a new individual therapist she will start seeing next week and wants an extra session with her couples counselor for the next couple of months. She hopes but hasn't pressed that I will close my side as well, but I haven't made up my mind yet. I guess I will wait and see for now. Story 2. Am I the a-hole for kicking out my boyfriend's ex? Plus update. Original post. I, a 36-year-old female, and my boyfriend, 42 male, have been together for 7 years. We have both been married and divorced before and like to be financially independent of each other and keep things pretty separate. What's mine is mine and what's his is his. I am CF, have worked my way up in my field and am comfortable. My boyfriend doesn't earn what I do. He pays a lot of child support too and contributes as he should to all of his 5 kids' after-school activities. So our deal between us is I pay all of our household bills, loans, and food, and he looks after his kids and contributes what he can to our household. 5 years ago I bought a home for us, and I even went as far as buying a home that would suit his kids so they would feel comfortable when they came and stayed with us. This caused a lot of drama. His ex felt that I was trying to buy the children, and in her words, she only got the house to rub in how much better she thinks she is. I have always kept my distance from his ex. It was a messy divorce for them which she blamed on me, even though I didn't meet my partner until they had been separated for nearly a year. She has a history of DV to him, and my presence makes it worse. 18 months ago I got a great job opportunity which would mean that we would need to relocate 12 hours away from our current home. After discussions, my boyfriend and I and my boyfriend and his ex had agreed that we would make the move for my job and would rent my house to his ex for an incredible discounted rate with the agreement that this would be for 2 years. Recently my work circumstances have changed and we have relocated back to our hometown again. My boyfriend and I have found a small rental in the meantime, but since coming home his ex has become more aggressive, particularly with me. She has told my partner that the children have always hated me and were only nice because of him, but don't ever want to see me again. She has accused me of trying to buy the kids' love, making her look like a bad mother, and for basically being the root of all evil, which is whatever to me. I do love the kids my own way, but would hate to make them choose or feel uncomfortable by being around me. So we are making sure that my boyfriend spends as much time as possible with the kids and attends any sports or school events without me, and when I go away from work they come to our house. I've suggested therapy or counseling, but the ex won't hear it, making it sound like I'm calling her a bad mother for suggesting it. The 2 years is ending, and I want my house back. Basically the ex is saying I'm rich enough to pay for a rental and pay a mortgage now, that I should let her and the kids stay in the house, and since the kids now hate me, it would be a waste of space for just my boyfriend and I, and this situation is also leading the kids to telling my partner that they hate me even more for kicking them and their mother out of their home. My boyfriend is very torn. He just wants his kids safe and happy. Now for the update. I've had some messages for an update on my original post, so if you're interested in the backstory, check out my profile. But ultimately, I wasn't the a-hole. I was the moron. After reading a lot of comments on my original post, I decided that while yes, I wanted my house back, I also didn't really love the idea of living in the house the nasty woman had lived in for longer than I did. It didn't really feel like it was my home anymore, and I really wanted my home to feel like my home, so I decided to sell. I spoke with my boyfriend, and he was really non-committal on the situation, but said it was my decision. I gave the ex the option to stay in the home, and I would sell it as an investment property with a tenant, or she could move out. She went absolutely batshit crazy and decided to out hers and my boyfriend's reignited emotional love affair. As it turns out, since my boyfriend and I have returned to our hometown, I still have to leave town frequently for work. They had gotten close again. The ex sent me a load of screenshots and steamy messages and pictures and long-winded messages whining about me, and that maybe I should just let them have the house if my boyfriend and I separated, since I wouldn't need all that space. I obviously confronted my boyfriend, and he looked incredibly panicked, but admitted to all and said that it was more of an emotional relationship and it had not turned physical. And he was very, very sorry and embarrassed and was only leaning on her for comfort because I was away a lot. He also missed his kids and he felt emasculated by me a lot of times. There were plenty of other reasons and excuses not even worth mentioning. Needless to say, I am now single, have kicked him out and her out, and placed the house on the market for sale, and have just put an offer on a cute little townhouse on the beach. I've downloaded Tinder tonight after a few wines, and thought it was a good time to let Reddit know that most of you were right on my original post. Life isn't great, but I'm sure it will be again one day. Additional comment from OP. Honestly, I'm a little bit emotional about how nice and supportive you're all being. I've been kicking myself stupid for the last few months about being so obtuse and people pleaser about the whole situation. I'm sure those comments will come, but I can promise everyone no one is more critical than myself right now. But I just had my first match on Tinder, so I'm hoping things are looking up.